Okay, and then we need to share screen. Okay, so welcome to week 5 of Success Circle. Can you guys believe it? We've already completed 4 weeks and so much has happened, and it just is so inspiring to see all the growth and you guys all are taking action and all the momentum that is happening. We've gotten a lot of great feedback. Thank you for that. We really appreciate hearing from you how this has helped your business. And we also realize that some people are getting stuck, and that's natural and part of growth. So we want to talk about this a little bit for a moment. I keep referring back to this work by Steven Pressfield, and I shared this quote on Facebook already, but I wanted to read it and just talk about it just a bit. So turning pro is a mindset. If we are struggling with fear, self-sabotage, procrastination, self-doubt, etc., the problem is we're thinking like amateurs. Amateurs don't show up. Amateurs crap out. Amateurs let adversity defeat them. The pro thinks differently. She shows up. She does her work. She keeps on trucking no matter what.
Yeah.
So adversity and resistance is natural. It's human.
We all have experienced it, and we all continue to experience it.
It doesn't go away. It doesn't matter if you're a diamond, a blue diamond, a presidential diamond. To be human is to experience resistance. Tiffany Peterson, my coach, always says, when there's a new level, there's a new devil. You never arrive to the point where you're not going to feel resistance. So we want you to know that Josie and I are no different than any of you. We all experience this. Now, the difference is when that resistance shows up, how do you handle it? Do you use that as an excuse for like, oh, I don't really feel like doing that, so I'm not going to do it? That's what most people do. I've talked about this before, but I want you all to really begin to use your resistance as a reframe of this. The stronger the resistance, the stronger your soul's calling, that's exactly what you need to do to walk through to the other side. So I'm sure there's one thing in this program that you felt resistant to, right? Like, was it the tech splits?
Like,
was
more than the other stuff that kind of really came up that was like,
was it the membership overview? Is it inviting people to classes? Is it teaching classes?
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's going to be different for all of you, but I'm sure at one point there's been something we've suggested where you're like, ew, I don't want to do that, right?
Or that's I'm beyond that. I don't need to do that in my business, or that doesn't apply to me.
Yes.
Right.
So what we want to encourage you to do and invite you to do is that one thing that you're feeling resistance to is probably the one thing that's getting in your way from blasting through to the other side of your business. And that's a secret right there. So that is where we ask that you ask for support. You talk about it with your upline. You share some of your feelings on the Facebook page, and you are willing to take action. So if there's something in this program that you've not done, that you've not taken action on, then that's the very one thing that we invite you to do. We invite you to step outside of your comfort zone, because remember, if you want financial freedom, if you want to manifest your bigger why, to create your legacy, to create the life of your dreams, you're going to have to get uncomfortable over and over and over again. It is required. And if you're not willing to take that step forward, then you're going to really just stay stuck wherever you are at this point.
You've just identified, it's interesting, the conversation is, I think, a thing that separates who is successful with this business and why. Like, we have those conversations like, hey, why is Aisha so successful, and why did it take her so quickly? There's different things. Why did I make it in 3.5 years to diamond? Like, I can tell you right now, probably one of the biggest things, it wasn't that I'm a naturopath. That was actually a deficit, honestly. I mean, it has some benefits. It was because I already experienced that feeling, and I was very familiar with it, and I knew it within myself. I knew that resistance, and I knew that tendency, and I did not listen to it. I saw it come up because for 2 years, I taught yoga. My first 2 years of teaching yoga, I was terrified. I didn't like it at all. I love practicing yoga. I did not like teaching yoga. And every single class, twice a week for 2 years, I would sit there in my head and say, I hope no one shows up. I got to go home.
Do you ever feel bad about a class?
Yeah,
I'm having an oil class, but I hope nobody comes.
And then I experienced it practicing as an ND. Oh, maybe they'll cancel their appointment. My patient. And so by the time when I started doTERRA, it was a class, and I was still anxious about like, oh, I don't really know how to do this class. And I was like, I hope no one shows up. That thing came up. I was like, dude, mind, I know you. I know this tendency. Just step away. Like, I'm not listening to you. Absolutely not. I am showing up. I'm doing my best, and I'm going to be of service, and I'm not going to listen to you.
Yeah.
I've been through this hamster wheel. No. So that's one thing I can say. If you haven't had enough experience with that within your own mind and your own resistances, maybe that's why you're in doTERRA, because this is your playground to experience this. And we need to do it in life to get successful and start moving forward.
Yeah. So we're going to move forward, but we just wanted to speak to this because it's very real.
Yeah.
You're not alone. We all experience this, and it's very human. And again, we just want to give you the reframe and keep revisiting it, because we want all of you to be successful. We want you to find that financial freedom. We want you all to be shining bright diamonds. And so you can go out and make a huge impact in the world and help change other people's lives. And we know that you're working hard, and that you're here, and we're all excited, but we just, it's important to get real about the struggle and to really talk about it. So, okay, we're going to move on. So today we're going to talk about how to give a business overview and talk about kind of the best practices and give you an example of actually how we do this.
Okay, so the beginning of the business overview, that front page, is the buckets and pipelines kind of story. This is the story teaching the difference between what we call hauling buckets, hours for dollars, in the service industry, where if you don't show up, you don't make money, versus what it means to build a pipeline, which is another way of talking about residual income. And there's two ways you can work with this. Is the Edge system. They have this wonderful CD, and you buy them in packets of 5, I believe 4 or 5. And really a best practice is to hand someone who says they're interested. And yes, you schedule a business overview to either hand it to them if you're present, or to send it to them so that they pre-listen to this. It's 30 minutes with Seth and Rod, this CD. So that would be the best practice. If that doesn't happen, then you do want to really start out your business overview by actually reading, it takes like 3 minutes, this front story. And it very succinctly frames those basic concepts for people and talking about it. So that's where, from there, so that's where you actually really do read it. If they've had the CD, then maybe just say, do you understand? How did you like the CD? Kind of, and those concepts.
You could also ask what their thoughts about it are. Do they have any questions? And use this conversation as a framing for why you want to do doTERRA. And, what are they doing now versus the possibility of what this could change in their life, and have some discussion around it.
So that said, the rest of the business overview, what we're suggesting is that this is a first touch for someone pretty much in terms of talking the business, the numbers, kind of the show me the beef, right? I like to say that, like, show me the money. How do you make money? Is this company trustworthy? Is it for real? Is network marketing an actual viable business model and concept? These are broad strokes. A business overview should be giving people these basic information and concepts. So Aisha and I were speaking about this, and really when we go over the business overview, we very much follow the sequencing in it, but we don't directly read these inner pages. We take the general concept of each of the sections and tell that to the person, because actually some of the information in each of these concepts in directly reading it can be TMI, too much information for the first pass for people. So we discussed, and we thought Aisha does a fantastic job with this. So I would invite everyone, and this is going to be recorded so you can practice again, to get out your business overview if you have it, and or an extra piece of paper, and to follow us along with each of the sections, but to take notes with how Aisha is encapsulating each of these sections in a very general way, and how in the language that she uses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And there are areas that I do read, and then there are areas that I just summarize. And so we want to give you that example, the real life example. And we also will then ask that you practice this as well. So we're just going to jump right into it.
You tell them when you're reading, and then you're not.
So in the first section, I actually do like to read it. And I just simply say, so why make doTERRA your pipeline? And I like to point out that doTERRA has a really high retention rate, and that's what makes this an awesome business opportunity. It's on average 65%, which is 3 times the industry average retention rate. So it's 3 times higher than the industry. Sorry, that's a little awkward there. 65% of doTERRA's customers order on a regular basis. So what this means is once somebody becomes a customer, they continue to order the product. 74% of doTERRA's customers order at least once a year. And in the United States, $1 out of every $6 is spent on healthcare. doTERRA was founded in 2008, and doTERRA is a completely debt-free company with no outside funding. So these are really strong points to reiterate about what makes doTERRA a great company. And then I go through how to make money with doTERRA. So first of all, there's retail sales. This is awesome. When you sign up, you get your own website that comes automatically with your wholesale account. Somebody goes to your website, they make a purchase, you get 25%. Super easy. The second way is with our Fast Start bonus. And this puts money in your pocket really quickly. So if we have a party for you, Josie, next Saturday, and you have some friends come, and let's say Lisa and Sue sign up, you are going to receive 20% of whatever they purchase in the first 60 days.
Wow.
Now let's say that Lisa has another party and she invites a friend and she enrolls. She's going to receive 20%, but you're going to receive 10% as her enroller, and I'm actually going to receive 5%.
Because you're my enroller.
Because I'm your enroller.
And then Lisa's friend who enrolled has a class and enrolls someone, and then Lisa, they get 20%, Lisa gets 10, and I get 5. And I wasn't even at that class.
Right. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool?
So that's where you could say, this is both. You're doing some work. That's where you say it's both, can be a bucket and a pipeline. It's a mix.
Right. And the other thing, I like to explain this in a way that it's going to affect Josie or Lisa. Like, I like to let her know how money is going to be in her pocket, rather than saying, well, when you signed up, I got 20%. Wasn't that awesome? I want to say, when you enroll someone, you're going to get the 20%.
Receive that money. And then when 2 iterations down the line, you're still receiving some of that money, even when you're not even present.
Yes.
One point I like to say in this, and this is called the Fast Start bonus, because this check gets issued every week. You can have 4 of these possible checks. So in the same week that you enroll someone, you're going to get a check.
Yes. Now, this is also an area that if somebody says they're interested in doing the business, but they're a little financially strapped, they don't know if they can do their $100 LRP every month, you can say, we can set up some events for you and we can get that money back in your pocket right away.
Yeah.
So that will support you in paying for your monthly order. Okay. Okay. And then 3, the Power of 3 bonus. This is actually just an extra bonus that the company gives us. This is extra money in your pocket every single month, and it's super cool, really. So what I explain is, so Josie, when you go out and you find 3 friends that are on 100 LRP a month, and then collectively, all of you have 600. So if there's 3 of you, you each need to be spending 150, and or you need to get a few more. You will get a $50 bonus every single month. Now, when they go out and find their 3, you will get a $250 bonus. They will get a $50 bonus. When they go out and find their 3, you get a $1,500 bonus, and that works all the way up the chain. So I just give kind of a simple overview of that.
Yeah.
I know you can get a little bit into the TMI to explain the 600 OV part of it. I like to have a little bit of that in there so they don't just think that there needs to be 3 on 100, because technically 3 would need to be on 150, right? But I just like to really give them the overview here. Is there anything else you want to say
I like to frame it, of course, with the wellness part. And so I even say, so really the goal is you're going out there, you're sharing this beautiful plant medicine, and when you have 3 people who really want to invest in their and their family's wellness and are interested in the whole wellness pyramid and regime of doTERRA in their lifestyle, they're going to be on LRP and they're going to be ordering a good amount. So that's that way of saying that. And then you can have a couple of other customers who are just ordering some oils. That's that padding. That's when you reach about that $50 bonus. So when you frame it that way, it's like when you're invested in sharing and helping and educating and giving good membership overviews, it's not that hard to be finding 3 people who are interested in incorporating doTERRA into their wellness and lifestyle and improving for their family's health.
And this is a really great first goal for somebody, is to actually work on getting their Power of 3 set up. Okay, so moving on to section 4. Now, this is an area that I really like to summarize because, again, it can become TMI very quickly. And so I really want to just give you the take-homes of what I like to point out.
Yeah.
And I like to point out that this is one part in particular that makes doTERRA's compensation plan so powerful. Over time, the largest part of your paycheck is actually going to be from your organizational volume. In the beginning, it's the smallest part of your paycheck, but over time, it becomes the largest part of your paycheck. So remember, I had pointed out that doTERRA has a 65% retention rate, and I want to show you how the doTERRA compensation plan compares to kind of an average compensation plan from other companies. So in doTERRA, if you were to take the exact 3x3 organization, so just like we'd showed you with that Power of 3 bonus, let's say everybody, this is in a perfect world, is spending $150 a month.
Okay.
So you have the exact same amount of people, you're doing the exact same amount of work, you have the exact same amount of sales. You will see that at doTERRA, that translates to a $32,000 paycheck every month.
Wow.
Versus another company that's going to be around a $12,000 paycheck
with the same volume and work
same
and
volume,
everything. People, wow.
Same work, same volume. The reason why is because most companies pay you the highest percentage on their top line, but as you notice, your organization gets larger as it goes down, right? You have less people on the top, like with your Power of 3, and more people on the bottom. So other companies pay you the highest percentage on the top line and the lowest percentage on the bottom line.
And another thing I point out is that it's those exact same companies. People feel like they're making more money in the beginning, but it's those ones, they usually do not have a fast they usually don't have a power of three structure. That whole 50, 250, 1500 is unique to doTERRA. A lot of companies don't have something like that. They don't even have that way of getting paid. The way they do it is they give you that high percentage up front. And so people feel like they're getting that money, and then they get robbed in the long term of their potential in the business.
Exactly. And then really also pointing out that with doTERRA, you'll see you get paid the smallest percentage on the top and that lowest percentage on the bottom. Now, I don't go into a whole lot more here. I don't get into placements and to how to lay out your organization. No. I just really want to point out the difference in those numbers. So that's really the big takeaway from this section. Because remember, as we get into training people how to do the business, you're going to start mentoring with them. You can really start to break all of this down. But if you go into this too much in the beginning, you're going to lose them and overwhelm them. And when people get confused and overwhelmed, that's when they shut down. And that's when they don't want to take action, because they'll go, well, this looks too complicated and confusing. So you just want to keep it super simple. Okay, then there's more, right? So if this wasn't already enough, there's more. doTERRA has a leadership bonus pool. Each month, the company takes 6% of total global sales and splits it up between 5 leadership bonus pools.
So you're just reading right from that middle section there in section 5.
Yes.
Pointing that out.
And so you can see 2% goes to the silver, golds, and platinums, 1% to the diamonds, 1% to the blue diamonds, and 1% to the presidential diamonds. Now, all I really point out here is the amounts of money. So I say on average, a silver is going to get about 150. A gold, you're going to get 5 shares, you're going to get about 750. A platinum, you get 10 shares at 1,500. A diamond is getting 1 share, but it's only divided up between the diamonds. So you're actually in a smaller pool. That bonus is about 4,000. The blue diamond bonus is 9,000 to 12,000, and the presidential diamond bonus is 15,000 to 35,000. And I say, and that is in addition to all these other ways that you're making money. So again, you don't need to explain like all the way it breaks down, but really highlight the amounts of money, and that's the most important part there. Okay, then I basically say, so everything that I've gone over, this is how it translates into the ranks in your paycheck. We always recommend at a minimum that everybody gets to silver so that you will actually be able to earn the right to get paid on those full 7 levels down.
So you can go back and you can say, see these 7 levels? When you reach silver, you have earned the right to get paid out on each of these levels. Each of the ranks preceding that you're getting paid out on a lower level. And that's all you need to.
Yeah. And again, you can go in the details of that a little bit later, but you just want to plant that seed. And then we also point out these are the average income. So most silvers do not start out with a $2,000 paycheck in the beginning. Oftentimes the beginning silver is $800 to $1,000. And so I like to say that because I want it to be real and I don't want to set up a false expectation. So I'll say a beginning silver is going to start out about $800 to $1,000, but as your organization grows, so does your paycheck. And so the average silver is making about $2,000 and $2,200. And they also, I believe, have factored into this silver that this silver is also getting their $1,500 bonus, I think possibly, or their $250 bonus is part of that. But actually that's kind of TMI. You don't need to go into that. And then at a gold level, golds are getting up into the $5,000 pay range. A platinum is getting into kind of the, moving up from like $8,000 to $10,000 pay range. The average diamond is getting into $16,000, $17,000 a month. An average blue diamond going into the $38,000 a month range. And the average presidential diamond is getting into the $100,000 range. And this again is per month. So again, from there, the main thing to point out is the rank and the dollar amount. You don't need to explain that a gold has 3 premiers and 2 executives, et cetera, because that just becomes too much information. And if they start asking you questions, of course you can go into more explanation if they're like, well, what does this all mean? But if they're not asking you about it, I really just recommend pointing out the dollar amounts, because really that's what most people really want to know is how much money can I make?
And if someone has experience with network marketing and they have a plan and stuff, those are the people who are usually going to be more laser and like, well, wait a minute, what does your gold mean? My gold made this and stuff. And sure, so you can match the place where someone is with their kind of business or, you know, like network marketing plan knowledge.
Exactly. So then this is where you ask the question, so what kind of doTERRA business do you want to create? And I'm looking at this chart right there at the bottom. So would you like to earn free product? Are you interested in a part-time business? Are you interested in a full-time wealth? Actually, I'm going to back up really quick here. Before I even say that, one thing that I say is, so what appeals to you? Josie,
like you've showed them the ranks. Out of these ranks, is there something that is
what appeals to you? How much would you like to make?
So when I first began, when Aisha did give me a business overview, with the old doTERRA one, right before the edge was there, and gold. Right. Gold was like really, that's where I was like, oh my gosh, everything would be like.
Yeah. So now a few things here. On average, most people are going to tell you gold, or they're going to tell you presidential diamond, because gold is typically, you know, you're getting into $5,000 a month. That, for the most part, on average, will replace people's needed living expenses. Yeah, and that is usually a jumping off point where somebody could actually leave their job and do doTERRA full time. So on average, that is what people are going to tell you. And so then you can, at the bottom here, so we'll return to that, what kind of doTERRA business do you want to create? And this gives you kind of an idea of the timeline. So moving from consultant to elite, you can earn your products for free, and you're going to need to commit about 3 to 5 hours per week, and it's going to take on average about 2 to 4 months to earn your products for free. Working from Premier to Gold, this is a part-time business, and that is about 8 to 12 hours per week, and it's going to take them 1 to 2 years to move to Premier into Gold. And then Platinum to Diamond is going to be your full-time wealth opportunity. This is where you're spending 15 to 30 hours per week, and this is on average looking at 2+ years. So you're looking really into like the bigger long-term commitment here. So you want to see how they answer that. And then I don't spend a lot of time on the back, but what I do like to point out is just a couple big takeaways is, first of all, 51% of the general population has used essential oils. So essential oils are becoming more popular in the marketplace, but of the general population, only 13% are familiar with doTERRA essential oils. So what this speaks to is there is a huge opportunity here. Huge opportunity. doTERRA
also with 75% of the population looking to natural health.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, 73%.
Or 75.
Yeah. So, and the most popular method to find out which natural product to use and how to use those products continues to be from the recommendation of a friend. This method is 50% more common than referring to an advertisement. So the reason why doTERRA wanted to be a network marketing company is because essential oils need that person-to-person education. They need the care. If a doTERRA essential oil is sitting on the shelf at the grocery store, people really are not going to have the opportunity to get the education and the guidance that they need. And that is why doTERRA decided to be a network marketing company. And so they're putting money back in your hands for sharing this product and educating people about the product. Another thing that I like to point out, which is in the pie chart, and then it's written down below, is that 85% of people in doTERRA are actually just buying the product. So most people that you introduce doTERRA to are just going to be customers, and that is perfect, because essentially all of those customers on loyalty rewards is actually what's making up our builders' paychecks, whereas only 15% of the company are actually doing the business. So again, this just really speaks to the fact that there is an amazing opportunity to be had here. And then on the back, you can look at the average earnings of the rank, the average annual earnings. So we showed you the monthly earnings on the other page, but this can kind of point out that on average, a silver is making about $26,000 a month. Now that is really, correct me if I'm wrong here, but somebody that has a minimum wage job that's making anywhere between $10 and $15 an hour, that's probably becoming fairly equivalent to kind of a minimum wage job. Full-time minimum wage job. And the difference is that
you make less with that. You have to be more than like $15 an hour range to make it to, I think.
Exactly. So, and somebody in that kind of job position is never going to have the potential to work towards making, $20, $30, $40, $50, even $100,000 a month. So you're starting off not making a whole lot in the beginning, but then your earning potential becomes massive over time. And there's no cap on your earning potential. Is there anything else you want to add there? She's doing some math here.
I'm doing the math.
Okay, should I keep moving on?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I just like to point that out because it's helpful for people to see.
Yeah, look at that. $15 an hour times 40 times 4 times 12, which would be yearly for $15 an hour, 40-hour week job is $28,000.
Right.
So
yeah. So and again, somebody that's working at New Seasons or Whole Foods, maybe they can work into a managerial position, or
those start at $9 to $10 an hour.
Yeah, but ultimately,
you've been working there a long time, and a manager, if you're making 15.
Exactly. So it's just a good reference to really show that what is possible with doTERRA. Okay, so these questions are crucial. They're critical because a lot of people, and I'm sure we've all experienced this, you sit down with somebody and someone's like, yeah, I want to be a presidential diamond, right? Who doesn't want to make $100,000 a year? And then you go, great.
A month, honey.
Or excuse me, a month. And then you say, great. How much time do you have? And they go, well, I have like 2 hours a week.
Yeah.
And you go, okay, well, it's going to be a long road to get to
fine. It'll be, that's the 10-year pass.
Totally. It's totally fine. But
with extreme consistency.
Yes. But what you want to know is because of course you're thinking, where am I going to place them on my team? How much energy am I going to give this person? Are they ready to jump in now? Or are they going to jump in 6 months? Like, you need to know all of this information. So this is the time I want you to memorize these questions. I want you to have these questions so they just roll out of your mouth, and that you get used to asking them to every single person that says, yes, I want to do doTERRA.
Wow.
Right?
And so what would you like to accomplish with doTERRA?
Right. So that's the first thing that we've already asked. What do you want to accomplish, right? So they've said gold, presidential diamond, etc.
Okay, great. Oh, so Josie, yes, gold. When would you like to achieve this goal?
Right? So do they say, I'd like to be gold in 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years? And also you want to see if what they're saying is realistic.
If it matches up. Mm-hmm. It also gives you an idea of where their mindset limitations might be. So it's interesting for someone like me. I'm conservative with what I don't come out of the box. And it just gives, if you're going to be coaching this person, I'm not like, yeah, you're going to do it right away. I was like, gold. That's all I'll kind of put on the table. Like, I'm not a good gambler. I'm not like going to put it all on the table. And that's just good knowledge to be like, okay. But then you want to see all these things, the matchup. Are they really big thinker, or are they kind of a little bit more like this? It just gives you just all these different things.
Right. So this is a key question, right? So when would you like to achieve the goal? And then secondly, great, how many hours a week do you have to dedicate to your doTERRA business? So you want to see if it's in alignment, right? Because again, they might say, I want to be gold in 6 months, but I have an hour a week. But if they come out and they say, I have 5 to 10 hours a week, perfect. And again, there's no right or wrong answer, but it's just for you to be able to start to assess if things are lining up in what they're saying. This is another really good question. Would you like to replace your current job with doTERRA? Do they love what they do? Do they not love what they do? Is this a way for them to get out of their current job situation? And actually, I don't have it on here, but if they say yes, ask them when. When would you like to leave your job? 6 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years? At what point would you like to make that transition?
And I mean, there's so many different things. If they say, I want to leave my job yesterday, then you need to be like, okay, are you okay with staying in a job you're not happy with for it? Like, it might be a year. It might be a year and a half before you're at the gold or in 1500, the place where you financially it would make good common sense for you to leave. Because to be trying to make a part-time or full-time living from doTERRA early on is not advisable.
No, in fact, let's speak to that, because we do not, write this out, we do not recommend that somebody run out and quit their job unless they have a good financial cushion and just start with doTERRA. Because no, you do not make a lot of money in the beginning with doTERRA. It's the reality, and we like to be really real about that. We know a lot of you are out there working hard, doing your due diligence. I went through this, Josie went through this. We know in the beginning the paycheck isn't large, but what you need to understand is that hard work, that dedication will pay off in really big ways when you stick to it and you stay consistent. So you want to make sure that you have a financial foundation while you're building your doTERRA business. And then, like, Josie was gold when she left her other job. I was gold when I retired from my photography career.
And I had the golden 1500, like a baby gold, just made gold and just securing my 1500.
Yes. So that is a good jumping off point for a lot of people. So it's good to have that conversation and lay out, realistic expectations, because if you lay out unrealistic expectations, then people can get disappointed, if they're not meeting that. Okay. So the next, you can ask them, do you have financial stability or support in your life? So again, just assessing, if they don't have a job, do they have a partner that helps support them? Because again, if somebody is looking for fast cash and they need to pay their bills, then I'd recommend that you get another job, do doTERRA alongside of it, and then you can transition out of that other job when you get doTERRA to where you need it to be. But if somebody needs that fast cash now to like live on and pay their rent, it can create a lot of stress in the beginning. Okay, then it's also good to find out, what is their network? Are they, do they go to church? Do they have children in school? What is their community? What is the network that they have to tap into? Because we really find that people that have a large network can sometimes tap into that and really gain momentum quickly. And it's not that they need to have a big network, but it's just information for you, because you go, great, you have a strong church community. You can start inviting, people from your church. Do you have anyone in mind who may be interested in joining you in building a business? Right off the bat, do you have anyone that wants to join you?
About
because we have this model of finding users and them turning into builders, but you can also approach somebody and say, I am starting this new business. I am looking for some key business partners. I'd like to share with you what that is about. Are you interested in possibly joining me? And so ask them, do you have anyone in your family, friends, in your network?
And that's what I coach people is like, you're going to be working with these people for a long time. You want to think about, who do you want to work with? Who is your ideal business partner? Who would you like to have that relationship with? And from the other end, if you approach them, what a compliment. Even if they say no, you're basically saying, you know, I've thought about it. I'm starting this business venture and I'm really excited to do it. And when I think about who I would like to be in business with, you're at the top of my list. And so I want to ask you first, because you're who I want to spend a large majority of my time with. Because when we're adulthood, who we're in business with is who we end up spending a lot of time with.
Yes, I get to spend a lot of time with her.
Yeah. So
thank God I love
remember
her.
that. Even if it's no, it's a huge compliment to ask them, because you're saying, I think really highly of you.
Yes, and in what is our magic question? We have a question for you. We're going to talk more about this next week, but why don't you lay out the question?
Yeah, and the new Getting Started guide from Seth and Rod, I love it because that's that next step in you learn to invite, right? Are you open to natural forms of health and wellness? Are you open to essential oils, right? You're inviting to a class, you're inviting to learning, all of that. The next step in inviting is for the business, is the ask of a business partner in the business. And I love how they phrased this. And so it's like, ring, ring. Hey, Aisha, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Jose?
Great. Hey, don't have a lot of time. Just quick question. I'm curious, are you in that place in your life when you're looking for extra forms of income?
Well, yeah, always. Yeah. What's going on?
Right. Look how easy that question is. I'm just, again, I'm just curious. Are you open? But then are you in that place in your life where you're looking for more streams of income, alternate streams of income, another way for residual income? Because most of it, by the time you hit your 30s, 40s, and 50s, you're having kids, you're having mortgages. Most people, whatever they've trained for, they're starting to have this thing go off about retirement, about paying for their kids' college, about paying for their mortgage. It's like, wow, I'd love to have another way of making money. And so what a simple, easy ask that is. I love it.
And this is a key here. If you ask, are you interested in ways to make other streams of income versus do you want to start a business?
I have this great opportunity. Would you like to listen to my opportunity?
Yeah. If you ask, or would you like to know how to earn your products for free? Would you be interested in making a few extra $100 a month? If you ask them that question, most people are going to say yes. If you come out of the bat and say, do you want to start a doTERRA business with me? Most people are going to go, no, thanks, right? So again, keep in mind, it's in your questioning and how you ask that can get different kinds of responses. And you could get a yes or a no from the same person, depending on how you ask the question. Yeah. Now, also keep in mind that this is an organic conversation. And so that is why if you just memorize these questions, and so they roll out of you, they can just come out in an organic way as you're having conversation. You don't then need to take out your worksheet and go, okay, so what do you want to accomplish with doTERRA?
Yeah.
Okay, next. When would you like to achieve this goal?
Right.
You want this to be an organic conversation. And then again, you're taking all this information in and you just keep asking those questions.
Yeah. And you want to end this crucial questioning, right? This thing, you always want to end with, are you ready to set up a class now? Because
that's very telling.
We've been through it a lot. Ooh, that's interesting. Where people will, big thinkers, they think big and they have these, and they'll say really big things to these questions. But I want to leave my job, I want to replace my income and do all this stuff. Great. Are you ready to set up a class now? No, I'm going through, all this family stuff. We have graduations, we have weddings, we have this, that. Yeah, it could be May. And they could say, yeah, well, I might be ready to have a class in September. Right. Okay, that tells you something. Exactly. They like the concept. They can think big, but they're not ready at all to get started. They're ready to, and that's when I would say, great, it sounds like it would be great for you now to really get, learn the product line, become a product of the product, start using doTERRA, and maybe over the summer you can be working on the 4-week business training.
Exactly.
But yeah.
Exactly. And then one other thing that I'll say here and we'll move on is that, and I've seen this happen where somebody says, I want to be a presidential diamond. And then I say, great, how much time do you have a week to work on that? And they say, I have 1 to 2 hours. So, and I've had people say I'd like to be presidential diamond by the end of the year. So this is a real life conversation that I'm giving you. And so what I've said to them is that, I just want to set you up for a realistic expectation, and that working 1 to 2 hours a week is not a realistic amount of work to then become presidential diamond. So if you have 1 to 2 hours a week to work, then why don't we look at a goal that's obtainable in 3 months, like getting your Power of 3 bonus, or, just teaching a couple classes and setting up a realistic expectation for what they can do with that amount of time.
I love Larry and Aisha's, you guys, their presentation is incredible in the next week's webinar, because what it gets you to think about, and this is something you can think about in reframing things for people, is a baby diamond, low-level diamond, like not even the average, is between $100,000 to $150,000 a year income. What other job opportunities do you have to make that level of income? Mm-hmm. These are doctors, these are lawyers, these are people who have to do 5 to 10 years of postgraduate education first, mm-hmm. before you can even enter into, or you're at high level end of the marketing. That's what Larry talks about at the end of his career, 20 years in corporate at a company, doing marketing and sales. That's when you get to make $150,000 a year. So you want to put this into reasonable things. An average silver, well, $2,000 a month, that's like 45 to 50,000. That's a teacher who's been through, who has a graduate degree, salary. Right. So bring it back to, what other type of work would you be doing to make this kind of income, to kind of like ground it in reality?
Right. Exactly. So we hope that as you utilize these questions, they'll really help you. They also give the person you're talking to a lot to think about. And it just stimulates really good conversation, because what we see happen is Sally says, yeah, I want to be presidential diamond. You go, yes, I'm going to put her on her top line. And then 6 months goes by and she hasn't done anything. And you're like, oh, well, I thought you wanted to be a presidential diamond, but you actually never even asked her if she was ready to set up a class. Right? Are we all guilty of that? So anyway, we just hope this gives you some more guidance on how to have a deeper conversation. So we're not going to talk about this right now. We're going to talk about this next week, but we just wanted to show you what's coming.
Yes.
We have created a new builder checklist, because once somebody says yes, then at that point, there's the steps that you're going to take them through to get them going in the business. And we want to make sure that you have clear and concise steps about, okay, we're going to add them to the business page. We're going to opt them in for the automated training. We're going to start classes. Maybe you're going to start mentoring with them, etc. So we've laid out, just a little checklist for you to go through, that you'll take your new builder through. But we're going to go over this more thoroughly next week. Now, this literally came out a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, like last week.
Before our training even started. But so we're gonna talk about it next week. And I'm actually really excited about this, because I find that taking a new builder and giving them a fast track planner sometimes is a little intimidating, and not a lot of people are utilizing it. So this is an in-between step. It's mm-hmm. called the Quick Start Guide, and it's a place to get your new business builder started. And so we're going to go through this next week and go through how to use it. It's super simple. It's pretty self-explanatory. We want you all to be familiar with it. And I think this is going to be a really powerful tool for us. And then also, if somebody's then said yes, you've taken them through the business overview, having the 4 essential steps to build your essential oil business on the CD delivered by Seth and Rod is a great CD set. If you have not listened to it yourself,
highly
please
recommend.
Do so. Put it in your car. Now, it's the same thing pretty much that we're teaching in the boot camp, that we're teaching in the 4-week automated training, but it's important for people to hear it, to see it, to hear it said in different ways, for it all to really start sinking in.
We all have to hear things, they say pretty much seven times before you really kind of grok it.
Yes. So this is a great way. I have a, university in my car. I'm always listening to new material. I even go back, even still as a diamond, creating trainings, I still go back and listen to this again and again and again, because it's so valuable, and it just sinks into my subconscious on a deeper level. So those questions come rolling off my tongue in the right moment, right? And it just comes out of my mouth, and working through the system becomes very intuitive. So we recommend giving this to them. You can ask them to give it back to you so you can continue to pass it around your organization, but have a couple sets of these on hand to share. Okay, we love to end with quotes, and then we'll have some time for Q&A. It's not about perfect, it's about effort. And when you implement that effort into your life every single day, that's where the transformation happens. That's how change occurs. Keep going and remember why you started.
Yeah.
Keep in mind that this is something that you're committing to, hopefully, for the long haul, for the long vision. And do you know that if you simply do even 5% more a day, it's these daily action steps that you take. And some days you're going to take smaller action steps. Some days you're going to take bigger action steps. But it's taking this action continuously that is going to get you to your bigger goals, right? And so just reminding you of that. It's not always going to be perfect. In fact, most of the time it's not.
Yeah.
You've got to be willing to fail forward. You're going to have seasons where you're going to be busy and tied up in other parts of life, and maybe you didn't get a lot done. I know, Nicole, you were feeling frustrated about getting locked up into other things in your life for the week. That's okay.
It's okay.
Because it's the little things
Life
that you're
happens.
doing on a continual basis. So if you have a few days that you get derailed, just get back on track. Plan another class. Keep that momentum moving forward, and you will get to these bigger goals. Remember, dream big, but then start small. And it's the small action steps that we take every single day that are going to get us to these bigger goals. Okay, so for your weekly challenge, we're keeping it super simple this week. Well, maybe. Okay, so we know that there's different levels of comfortability with the business overview. So if you're really comfortable with it, then you'll get a point for just giving a business overview to somebody in your organization that might be ready for that. But if you're new to giving business overviews, or you're not real confident, then we ask that you practice. You can practice with your upline. You can practice with another wellness advocate. You can practice with your partner. We just want you to practice going through it. And you can ask them, how did that make you feel? Was that clear? Did I give you too much information? Ask for feedback, okay? So you'll get a point for either, for giving it, for practicing it, again, depending on where you are. This is the big one. We want you to take an action step to get out of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So what have we asked you to do in the program that you've resisted?
Yeah.
I know some of you aren't into that tech splits.
Right.
Okay. And you're like, I'm not doing that. Well, we invite you. You could still have your own tech splits. Did you
step out and get uncomfortable?
Yeah. Did you look in your organization and reach out to people about membership overviews? Or did that make you uncomfortable? So wherever you met that resistance, we ask you to take an action step and then just post what the resistance was and the action step you took. I know we had a little bit of a conversation on Facebook already about that, and I love that because someone had posted how they were resistant to call somebody, and they called, and the woman really needed help. Yeah. And they really supported her, and they had a really big win from that. And I bet you that if you take that step to get out of your comfort zone, you will feel a win or experience a win from that experience. So if you just then simply write down, make a note on the thread of your action step, and you can do all of them, so you'll get a point towards a raffle ticket. for everything that you do. And then we're going to choose 2 winners and you'll receive a bottle of Immortelle. Okay, so let's get uncomfortable this week because that's how we grow. Okay, so we're going to open it up for questions, and look at that. Right again, we're right on the hour at noon.
Couple questions. Let's see. Let's look at the chat box.
But we will record the questions, and if you need to jump off, by all means, we know, but I know we've been going a little late, so give me a second to bring the chat box up and go back to. Oh, it's hard for me.
You stopped the share screen?
Yeah, I just, I know, I just have to get there.
Your dog.
Yeah. Okay, hold on a second. Okay, so if you have a question, go ahead and ask it in the chat box, and we're going to go through and just read really quickly. Just give us a second.
All right. All that. Yeah, we really did that. Keep going. Can you please speak to the emotional honoring bodies and energy? Okay.
So Ben is asking about the new Getting Started guide. You haven't missed anything. It's something that just came out. You'll put your face back in the box there. It's something that just came out, and we're going to review it next week. So you haven't missed anything there. Yay for the new excited.
It's a great, just what people are doing with their older stock. Let's speak to this for a second. It's like a good and a bad thing. It's great that the systems keep updating and they keep changing for the better, and so they're constantly trying to do that. It's also a bummer, right? If you've just ordered the material and you have a stock of it. I don't really have a good answer for that. If it's recycling. In terms of like going forward, I would say try not to do huge orders, at a time. And then think about it. We're in cycles. They have just updated to a new system. We have this Getting Started guide. This is brand new too, with the class and the builder, the bind guide. So now is a good time to do a big order for like your team, for people to stock up. I would say the materials are going to be they're probably not going to update them for a while. Times when they tend to update things are after convention, so that would be after September. That's when they'll roll in new things. But I think they've just rolled this in now. So it's not like we have but my guess is that they're not going to do new stuff for this September. So then it's also February is when we have leadership convention. That's when a lot of the systems, and I would say it was from February and things shifting, that then they created these changes and they're just coming out now. So, and I also, there's nothing wrong with using up the material you have either. The edge material. You can still use the older ones. So I would use it up, bring in the new ones. Keep in mind that our experience with doTERRA is things continue to grow and change a lot because we're still a fairly new company, and things continue to get refined. So I wouldn't buy things in huge quantities, and use up your old stock of what you have and then just transition into the new. So that's what I do personally. So is anyone wondering if she missed the announcement of the... It's on Facebook. Oh, no, the points winners we announce in the evening. Oh, right. Yes, Larry calculates those today, and then we will announce those later on. And we did congratulate Desiree and Sarah, who won the Helichrysum from the weekly challenge. So we announced that right at the beginning. Oh, yeah, that's cute. Thank you, Diane, for your thank you, Diane. To Aisha's lips. Maybe I should wear some red lipstick. I know. My lips are a little bit of chicken lips. But what can we do? Oh yeah, the bonus. Are we recording the webinar? That's a question about people who absolutely cannot make. We are recording Dana's and Larry and I's webinar, so yes, you can go and watch that. Absolutely.
Yes, all the, well, you can, what you can do, so there's a question about, are there printable PDFs of the Edge material? All of the Edge material lives online, and we have those links on the Essential Wellness Pathway to Success Facebook page. There is a link that says, under the files, it says Edge Online Material. We also have those links on our website.
Both places.
And there is a Zoom mag of all this material. And I don't think you can download those, but you could take screenshots of them and then you can print them out that way. So I don't know that we have them anymore in PDF version. You could also scan them and turn them into PDFs. But if you take a screenshot and print that out, that should work. And then you also have the online reference.
Tracy has something where she says, check in with the Edge on their website, call them to see if they can exchange the materials. So if you brought it fairly recently and you have the receipt, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah, Tracy, we just had somebody call and they said no.
Oh, they said no.
I think if it's in a really, like if you just bought it, but if you've had it for months, then the answer might be no. But you could certainly try that, but I'm not sure what the exact policy is there. And then, okay, there was also a question here from Lindsay, which I think was a good one. Can you please speak to the emotional resistance versus honoring body, saying energy is at capacity? That is a very real thing, Lindsay, and it's a great question to bring up. And so one thing that I do, because I experience this a lot, I feel like, I don't want to do that, is that's when I'll spend some time, like some quiet space, create some quiet space, and I ask my heart. And I ask my heart, is this something I need to do? Or is this something that I need to take a pass on? And your heart never lies. Sometimes our mind can create a lot of confusion. And especially if we have a lot going on and we're really stressed out, then you're going to get a lot of mixed messages. But if you take that quiet space and ask your heart, what should I do here? And then honor what your heart says. And we want to say the thing about resistance is, yes, there are times when we shouldn't do something, right? It's not a black and white, but when it comes to kind of building activity and getting uncomfortable, you need to be able to decipher that difference. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. But if you don't want to do, for instance, a tech splits because you think that's stupid and it feels a little awkward, then most likely that's just a resistance that you need to move past. So you need to kind of gauge that for yourself.
And I always try and think about experience in my past, and that's where I talked about like my initial time with teaching and being in front of people and being in that experience, and for everyone to think, is there something in their past where they've had experience recognizing resistance in themselves and that pattern and what that feels like inside and looks like, that they can kind of identify. You can name it. It's a little gremlin. It's a thing. And you can sort of say, this is familiar. Right. I know this feeling.
Exactly.
This isn't just, so there's like exhaustion or emotional exhaustion, adrenal. There's those capacities versus like, no, I'm just totally in and some, like Diane is asking, ask why you think you have resistance about something.
That's a great suggestion, Diane.
That's great. Sometimes it's too subconscious. You don't know why. Mm-hmm. Like that would be for me. I don't think I could name for a long time like the why, but it was just resistance to being a professional, stepping into that power in myself, getting out there in the way that you guys are seeing me now. I mean, a lot of resistance, and sometimes it's just identifying it from knowing it, like, no, I've had this before, oh yeah, I've wanted to stay small and safe and more internal or more, introvert, and meeting that other side.
I'm really going to out myself.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I have been resistant to doing team calls.
Yeah.
That caused me a huge amount of anxiety. What do I have to say that any of you might want to hear? I had resistance to doing team webinars, moving through how to set that technology up, how to make that happen, doing all that work. I have resistance to being on video, to looking at myself in the computer screen and speaking to all of you. In the beginning, I looked at my office and I thought, oh, it's messy. Oh, it's not perfect. So I'm just sharing this with you because this stuff comes up for us.
And
all
I still
the
have
time.
resistance to being on Facebook.
Yeah, she has a hard time to be on Facebook.
I'm trying, you guys. It's not that I don't love you.
So
I'm still in it.
So we just want to share with you and be really transparent that we have these same struggles all of the time, but we're here for you. Are we perfect? No, we give you the wrong date. We stumble over our words, but hopefully you still love us and hopefully there's still value for you. And if we weren't willing to get out of our comfort zone and kind of, lead the way, like we are only asking you to do what we've done ourselves. We would never, ever, ever ask you to do anything that we have not worked through, that we've not, experienced ourselves. And we know that in stepping into that, there has been growth.
Yeah.
Every time, I know so many of you might have fear of public speaking, and I've also seen people step into that and really blossom and grow in their business and their life. So I hope that
I want
helps.
to say a little tip. One of my tips that I use is in that self-identification process, like what's happening? Is this resistance? Is it like I really need to take a break? I go through this process in myself and I ask, who is talking?
I was just going to say
Who's
that.
speaking in me?
Mm-hmm.
There's
Is it your mom? Is it your dad?
Oh yeah, I have the different levels, right, of myself. Like I get more psychology. I'm like, is this my mind? Is this my subconscious mind? Mm-hmm. Is this that, my id part?
Larry calls her Charlotte. He said,
oh, Charlotte, yeah, your part, right.
Yes,
your lower self
is Charlotte.
Your higher self. Is it the person you want to grow into? And spiritual process for everybody is that distinction of like, when am I being in my lower self?
Yes.
Versus there's those moments where we really know when we're in that perfect part of ourselves.
Yes.
When am I in that part of myself? And so it's trying to identify like, yeah, who's talking right now in me, what part of me? And do I want to, am I going to honor that? Or am I going to be subjected to it? I'm going to let this lower part of myself be my master.
Yes.
No. Because that's when you step up to your resistance and say, you know what?
Exactly.
You're not my master. No.
And if you have not read the book by Stephen Pressfield, where we're pulling all these quotes from, is it The War of Art, The Art of War? I was confused.
I think
it's one of those, The War of Art. Please read it. And it's something that is kind of like the Big Leap. If you've not read The Big Leap, these are two books. Thank you, The War of Art. We always recommend, and it's one that we recommend reading, and then 6 months, a year later, pick it up and read it again, because you'll keep uncovering new layers and you'll keep moving through them. I've like The Big Leap, I've now read 3 times. Every time I read it, I have a new aha moment, and I uncover a new level of my own upper limiting. And same with The War of Art. Every time you look at it, you're like, oh, okay, I really get that piece, and I see how that's playing out in my life. So we hope this discussion is helpful. Mm-hmm. And we want to be real with you guys. We know that, building a doTERRA business, it's simple. It's not easy. It takes commitment. It takes work. It's going to challenge you.
It's multifaceted.
It's very multifaceted. We say this over and over again. It is a personal development program wrapped up in an essential oil company, and it will sneak up on you in ways that you weren't expecting. And again, every time you go to a new level, there's a new experience. There's something more to uncover. But welcome that, because that is your growth. That is your evolution. And that is the beauty of being a human. It's not that we ever really arrive. It's about embracing this amazing
humanity
journey. And do you want to be status quo, Or do you want to go out and be brilliant and amazing and spectacular? We hope that you want that. And we hope that you join us as we all work on this, right? As you know, diamonds are in a piece of coal, and they withstand tremendous pressure in the body, in the mind, and the consciousness to become a diamond. So all of this resistance is part of your crystallization process, so you can just shine brighter. Okay, so we're gonna wrap it up there.
There it is. That's my diamond.
Beautiful diamond.
It's brown. My diamond is brown.
We love imperfect diamonds.
Yes, it's champagne, actually.
We love you all so much. We really do. And we love this time that we have to connect with you. So have a great week. Hopefully we'll see you all on Thursday.
Yes.
The class will be interactive on Thursday. So we do hope you can join the slide, but we'll have the recording for those of you that can't be there. And we'll continue the conversation on Facebook. Have a great week, you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.